Check one, check two, check three. Hey. We're gonna go, we're gonna set a timer. We're going 15 minutes. And we're gonna ease on out. Timer being set. Boom. Alright, what's going on? It is a rainy Tuesday. No, Monday. And I was like, yeah. So my sister from England has she's visiting for the next 2 weeks with her husband and two of my nieces. I haven't seen them since I've been in Japan. I mean, they visited while I was in Japan, but it's the first time seeing them. And I gave up my room, and my dad he's taking the living room, so I don't have a studio. The attic's too hot. In the basement, every time I went down there to record, I always felt just weird, like the mold. I don't know what the hell is going on down there. So I did a video yesterday here in the grass. It was pretty nice because you couldn't even tell I was outside unless you've seen it. Because again, this is part of what I wanted to talk about. I didn't know about freaking noise gating. So noise gate is basically a gate for noise. Makes sense, right? But let's say there's a bunch of noise, like brrr, you know, cars passing by and babies crying in the distance. You could put a kind of gate. So if it's this level of noise, it won't, every time it tries to go up, it'll just kind of pump it back down. And then your vocals are just right above it. And then, yeah. So even though I'm outside and like the birds were chirping and there were some deers in the back doing whatever deers in the back do. And lightning bugs, though they don't make a sound, but they're out there. Cars, there's a highway. You couldn't hear it. All you could hear is me, and then I had a little reverb and echo. It almost sounds like the recording was done somewhere else. Long story short, I didn't know about that shit, because when I did the first 365, I was walking out and I was like, since I could hear like the cars are passing by, you could hear the cars pass when I rhyme. If I would have known about noise gating, I would have been like, this car is passing by, but you can't even, anyway. 15 minutes, yeah. So yeah, so I'm out here to record another one. I mean, the studio, I found a little studio at the library. I don't know if I told you about that. I can't keep track, but it's all booked. So anyway, so I realized that I don't like conflict. I used to say I love conflict. I mean, I do. So what do you mean love conflict? Because, you know, conflict is what makes the world go around. Dunkin' Donuts would have you thinking otherwise, but, you know, again, 15 minutes, I don't got time to go into it, but conflict. But, or I guess conflict for a point or purpose. Purposeful conflict is okay, but just arguing about two sports teams, politics, religion, and it just, but the worst one is just kind of like the new versus old. Young people think a certain way because they're young. Old people think a certain way because they're old. And as it just seems that the older you get stuck. Like we're kind of baked in to a certain time period, a certain way of things. Like, I'm from the 80s, right? So usually in battles, it'd be like, blah, 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 you're gay. And that would just be like, oh, that's like the worst thing you could have said. Now, I don't know what league they're in, but it'll be like a transgender guy and a gay guy or whatever. And then they're battling and just like, and it's just odd to see, but this is now. So this, like if 8 Miles would have came out now, it might have been Lil Nas X. And he'd be like, you follow Future like he got a carrot up his ass. And you're like, and my point is, this is just the way it is. It's always been this way. I don't think it's going to change. So, but then to hear people arguing about this, I just don't understand why the people, because like, Will Smith made a song, parents don't understand. I never heard the song per se. I just know he made it in the style of the theme song, I think, but I didn't see it. Yeah, and so yeah, I just don't like conflict like that, because it just like, if you go outside and it's raining, you don't have an umbrella, why would you be upset when you get inside and you're all wet? Mad at the weather. Man, mad at the weatherman. You said mad at the fact that you forgot your umbrella somewhere. Mad at, like, and then for that person to be taking their whatever out on the next person and they didn't do anything. Like, it just, but yeah. So I find myself wanting to remove myself from situations where people are just arguing about dumb shit. And granted, it could be very important to them. Like my dad, what was my dad yelling about the other day? He was talking about, oh yeah, the lottery. He was having a discussion. He was saying, yeah, it can't be $1 billion because somebody should have won it by now. And he's saying it's rigged. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. But my dad doesn't even play the lottery. So it's like, why does it matter if it's rigged or not? You are not in this anymore. So granted, if you put your money down, but then it's there's more people in the world now that you can use your apps. They got the machine, so more people are buying it. It's like yelling at game shows. Like when you get on a game show, your mind kind of gets like what deers do when the lights come. They know what cars are by now, or they have, maybe, I don't know, in deer school, like when you see the cars, do not, but once they see, they freeze. And again, I'm where we at here? 8 more minutes. But it's just like, I want to say to anyone, just like, is it going to change what's going to happen next? Is what's going to happen next going to happen regardless of how you feel about it? Now, don't get me wrong. When I'm in it, I sometimes it's hard for me to get out of it. You know, I'm in it. Like, let me think of one time in Japan, I was arguing. I was arguing with somebody. I think it was valid though. I think it was. I used some site to sell my drone and GoPro and all that, and then the money got stuck in like a escrow-esque thing, and then when I tried to get it out, it wouldn't connect to my bank account, and I'm calling and there's no one to talk to. Like, it's all automated, and I'm getting frustrated. So finally I get a phone number and I'm just laying it on like da, 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 da. The thing is, I was calling a number. I wasn't calling the toll free. I was just calling a number. And I talked to this person who couldn't help me per se. But I just kept talking to them because they were an actual human person. I was like, da-da, I can't help you, sir. Da-da, I can't help you, sir. And when I got my phone bill, it was like a good $700. 70,000 yen. It was crazy. So yeah, I let them have a piece of my mind, but then a part of my mind kind of forgot that you are actually hurting yourself trying to get what you're trying to get. A lot of times I like one time in Japan, all these are in Japan, but there's some that happen here, but I was working with some artists, some makeup artists, and I saw that they stole my idea. Now, ideas can be stolen. You can't really copyright an idea. But my theme for a thing, she did it with someone else, and I was kind of hurt. I said, how can you do this? So then she invited me, like, you want to come to the shoot? You don't have to pay anything. You could just come. So maybe she's giving homage, like, no. I didn't say why I was upset. I didn't say why I refused, but it was my idea. And then later she's like, can I buy your leftover? So when I buy shit, I buy tons of shit. And she's like, can I buy it? I'm like, I never got back to her. And then when I left to move back to America, I ended up throwing it all away. So I could have made some money off of something that I wasn't going to use anyway, but it was just like a pride thing. And a lot of times I find myself. So yeah, I just don't like conflict. But it seems like it's inevitable. It's unavoidable. It's life. Life without conflict. What would that mean? Like no clouds. Like the moon and the ocean is a kind of conflict, a give and take, wax and wane. Am I saying it right? If everybody ran as fast as Usain Bolt, would there be any? Would people be excited if everybody, like underdogs, and dun 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 dun, you can do it. So we have to have things that we can achieve, and because this is life. But yeah. But yeah, conflict. We're gonna switch gears a little bit. So well, actually, so my summer is almost over. I'm going back to school. The principal called me saying, so what do you think? What is the plan for next year? Which I already told her what the plan was for next year, but she's reconfirming it. And she's like, yeah, you're gonna be like a long-term sub and blah blah blah. That wasn't the plan. I told her I was gonna go get my teacher certificate. Oh, that's great. You can get your teacher. You can become an emergency teacher. But that means I'm gonna be doing the super sub or long-term sub, which means I gotta teach everything go where they send me. And then, but most likely I'll be in the classroom waiting for another teacher to come because we haven't hired anyone. And I'm gonna be going for my certificatification, my cert, to be a certified teacher. It's not the plan, but I like having not such a big 4 to 5 year goal, but just something that while I'm doing my music, which doesn't stop, while I'm doing whatever else I'm doing, I'm also doing this. So in a year from now, I have a little piece of paper saying I'm a certified teacher. And I could take that paper and go to any school and get that money, because apparently teachers are needed. Because I keep seeing this. This is so crazy. Like, it was in the news, whatever I read yesterday. 70-year-old teacher was having relations with, I don't know, 15-year-old or whatever. She's going to get 400 years consecutive life terms or some shit like that. So it's like teachers, well, we don't make any money, so we just gonna fuck it up. But there's a song, I might make it my anthem. Whitney Houston sung it, but she's not the originator. It goes, I believe it's hard to teach your children. I don't know the word. But she wasn't the originator of that song. But I do believe that the kids are the future. But I kind of want to say the reason we have so many interesting young people now is because of what they were learning in school. Moving on to that, I don't even know, what's his name? DeSantis? But he was saying something along the lines of slavery was good for black people. I feel, well, I'm black, but they don't say that for any other race. Like, I believe, like, it's, but I guess it's because, I don't even know, but at some, if it goes the way that the people who like this, so I could actually get in trouble. Like, I'll be teaching, like, Mr. Bailey, were black slaves? And somewhere it'll be like, the book says, no, they were never slaves. They were apprentices or some bullshit. And I'm like, the hell they were? And if I say the hell they were, I wouldn't say the hell they were. But if I say that is not correct, I can get fired. Have the book thrown at me. Some angry parent will come in there and say, how dare you teach me that? Which that's coming. Which it fits perfectly with AI. Like, if AI is now going to be the teachers, they could kind of beep, boop, bop, and kind of, because AI is not going to be all like, no, some sassy AI. But again, I'll cross those bridges when I get to them. There's no need for me to be all upset about it now, which a lot of people are so upset about. Now, if you're in, like, if it's happening in real time for you, like you're teaching and the administration is coming in and telling you, wow, we got 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right, that was 15 minutes. So, like, so as I said, my sister's at the house, and I'm upstairs. So I'm in my mom's room, which is kind of weird. Like I put some of my clothes in one of my mom's empty dressers, and then whatever. But my dad did not want to sleep in my mom's room, and he didn't want anyone else sleeping in there. I was gonna sleep in the attic, but it's really hot, and there's bugs. I mean, there's bugs everywhere, but attic bugs. And I couldn't do the basement. But my dad already said he's going to sleep in the living room. Like, we have a living room. I don't know what you call that. The kitchen where the TV is, and then a place where you put people if you wanted to, like, have guests or something. Dining room, and then the other room, I don't know. But he already took that. So the first night I'm in there and I couldn't sleep because I kept kind of flashing back to it was when my mom passed away. I was there and blah blah blah. And then for a little bit, it's like, oh, I can't sleep in here because my mom passed away here. But then I was like, what the hell? What the hell? Why the hell would I care who died wherever? People, like, ain't no goat. My mom's ghost is not coming back to terrorize me. That's not how we do it in that house. And if there's any evil, malignant, malicious, I think malignant's cancer, malicious is. Any malignant, malicious ghost, my mom will be there like, don't you dare be bothering my son. So then I just fell asleep, and that was that. But there's no, like, I guess it's not, I guess the rooms are all the same, but in my room, my bed is pushed to one side, and there's just all this emptiness. My mom has, like, all these, you know, women have extra stuff and whatever. So it's taken up, and the bed is this way, and I don't want to move the bed to make space. So I have nowhere to, like, do anything in there. But yeah. But anyway, so I'm sitting in the room and I hear my dad say something to someone saying that, yeah, Matthew doesn't talk. I just was talking for what, 17 minutes right now? And then he's like, he doesn't listen, he doesn't, I told him a joke. He said, I told my son a joke and he didn't laugh. Now I could hear, I don't, like, my dad will be down wherever the hell he is and be like, I wonder if Matthew's here. And it's as if, pew, 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 Matthew's here. And I come down and say, hey, you called me? Like, you heard me? Like, of course I heard you. So he's just like, yeah, he didn't laugh at my jokes. He's just like a big dummy. Now, this is a reference to Sanford and Son. We would always say, but still, it's like, I don't laugh at your jokes because they're not funny. Like, the jokes I laugh would be like, there was a bunny, and the bunny had no hair. Like, play on words, puns, or intricate. The guy walked into the bar, and then he saw 3 people. So the first joke was he walked into the bar, and that could be the joke. That's not the joke. And then he did it, but then it ends with, he didn't go to the drinking bar and he didn't walk into a physical bar. He walked into the lawyer taking a test bar. Again, play on words. I couldn't hit my pops with any play on word kind of things. Like, they're more literal. So, like, he has a flashlight and he thought he left it in the bathroom. So I'm looking in there because maybe I could see it. So I'm looking in there, and then I lift up the toilet like it's not in here, and he starts laughing like, oh. So you made me laugh. But that's not where my humor lies. I was at the therapist last week, and I was telling her, I'll tell you now. So I'm doing volunteering at this music fest, like a 10-day festival of music. Last year, Boyz II Men came. I think the year before, Vanilla Ice came and stuff. You know, so we don't get, like, Beyonce didn't come and Drake didn't come, but like other I think GMAC, or I don't know, people like that. Anyway, so I was volunteering there, and then my sister said she's coming, so then so I went one time, and then, but anyway, so I volunteered, and I was telling my therapist I volunteered, and I did some open mics and blah, blah, blah. And then she said, "Oh, Matthew, I like that you put yourself out there." So then I said, "Pee Wee Herman put himself out there too." And then it was quiet. And then, boom, she, ah, ha, ha. Because he just died, and you know, he was out there doing what he does. Now I could have updated it, but it was tailored to her because Panda, what's his face? The hell's his name? Panda. I got English, Old English, Broken English. I got what's his name? Future's clone. What the hell's his name? Again, keep it moving. You'll know what so the guy who sung Panda, he came back from Japan, which is weird. Well, it's not weird, but you know, he's come back from Japan and he's out there doing his Pee Wee Herman. So I could have said the Panda singer also put himself, but I knew, well, I don't know. She knows. Sometimes I'd be like that, and it's like, I know what you're talking about. Other times, she's like, I don't know what that means. Like when I was like, you know, thought. Some girls are thought. She's like, you know, thinking? No, a thought. I had to break it down. So she knows what she knows. But those kind of jokes, timely, whatever. But it is what it is, you know. My dad's really happy that his daughter's here, and you know, well, there's only one thing. Well, anyway, so I hope y'all are good. Thank you for watching and listening, and I guess I could end on a bad note. Why would you end on a bad note? Because I am. So, you know the thing that you stick into your car to see when a check engine light's in, and you stick something in there and it gives you the breakdown of what it is? So, for the longest time, that light been on. It's just been on, and I just didn't know what to do. And I tell people, like, oh, there's a thing, could stick in there and it'll tell you what's wrong with it. But I didn't know where this thing was. I didn't know. And then at one point, my cousin fixed something and the light went off, but then it came back. Said, I'm back, bitch. And then another time, he did something and it disappeared and it came back. I'm back, bitch. And I just got comfortable, like, hey, you're back. I'm like, hey, what's up? Let's roll. But I got to do inspections this month, and I was telling my cousin, what should I do about this light? You got to get that checked. There's a thing that you could, just like, if anybody would have like held my hand and brought me to the place or put one in my hand, and I would have. So that's like my world. No one does those kind of things for me. I'm just supposed to know. So I phone call, I said, hey, I don't know what the thing is, but you got a thing that could check the thing on the thing of the engine thing. And they're like, yeah, sure, just come in. I walk in and he's like, what do you need? I'm like, you got a thing with a thing to put the thing in the thing. He's like, here, I can't go in the car. You know how to do it? I was like, no. He's like, it's under the car. So here, I think I can show you. Well, you don't need to see it. But there's a hole that's the same size as the thing. So I put the thing in the thing, but nothing happened. And I pushed it in there and it kept going in there. And it's like, what the hell? So then I got out the car and I pulled on it, and it popped open, and there's a thing. It's like a covering for the thing. And then I put it in there and I went boop, boop. And then it started spitting out some numbers. Like, wow, so easy. Like someone could have, like, this is my life. Like, I don't know. I know what I know, but what I don't know, I need someone to be like, hey. So, I mean, I knew this was supposed to be 15 minutes, but we gonna get. So I found this guy. He makes sample packs, and he was offering a course on how to make better beats or some shit. So I bought it, and I bought this in last year. So I saw it was up, so I just bought it. But then life, you know, was whatever. Anyway, so we had our first lesson, and I'm just asking them questions like, so basically, in a nutshell, if you sample James Brown, and your song doesn't even have to be a great song, big popular song, but if your song gets out there and the estate of James Brown, like, you didn't ask us for permission, they're gonna shut the shit down. Now, if it's a big song, they might just take all the money you would make from the song, because it's just more money for them. Some examples of this we have, which the thong song. Let me see your thong. I didn't even know what a thong was until he sang it, and then after that, I was like, oh, she got a thong on. I used to ask, you wear thongs? But the song was huge, right? But the line where he says, yeah, jump, 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 living la vida loca, she had jumped like a jump, jump. So apparently, and I don't understand this, which is separate from whatever, but since he said the words, living la vida loca, Ricky Martin, I believe his name is, he owns the song, or he gets like 90%, and then the producers get their 10. But Cisco, he didn't get shit. Crazy, right? And then, don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. That song, the dude, the line, I think it's Don't Believe Me, Just Watch. This random guy from, he did a song, All Gold Everything. Papa Molly, I'm sweating. Whoo! I think it's that. Girls, fancy, hallelujah. Whoo! So I guess he took more than that, but he got $150,000 for just the words, not music, just the words. And then he gets like, I don't know, 10% or whatever. I don't know the back end of it. So I don't know any of this shit. I mean, I know those because they're out there, but as for me, so I found some guy who would just sit down and hold my hand. It's $300. Hold my hand and just and I'm asking all these questions. I was like, so if I take your sample and make it into a new track, can I copyright it? He's like, what? Why would you copyright it? Like, he had his face like, what are you talking? Why would you do that? Like, cause I'm but these, I don't know. Like, I read a lot of books, but I need the face, cause his face said like, why would you didn't do anything? So then it gets me going on to, well, what if, and then a bunch of hypotheticals, because I'm not there yet, but I just want to know. In the past, when I send emails to sample makers, like, just cross that bridge. No, I don't want to cross any bridges. I want to know now, because knowledge is power. But I'm asking, so we spent about a half an hour just asking him all these questions. So what if I use your sample? So basically it goes like this. Use someone's sample, they're entitled 50% of the publishing, I believe. So if it's $10, you get $5, they get $5. Like, what if you use a sample from person A and a sample from person B? Then it's 12.5 to that one, 12.5 to that one, and 50%. So what if you have a sample from person A and a sample from person B, and it just keeps splitting until at some point it's like you get 0.004. It makes sense. I'm like, then I'm just going on. He's just answering the questions like, okay, that makes sense. But I would never have known until I get hit with the, well, your song is now going to be owned by the estate of whoever because you didn't do the proper thing, and I just have to eat that shit. Now I know. And then looking for loopholes, like a lot of some sample packs, they do drums like and then within the pack they sell the individual hits. So I'm like, what if I replayed what you played, but using the royalty-free hits? And he's like, he stops and he's like, wow, I didn't think of that. That's a loophole. But then he kind of said, well, if anybody wants to go to great lengths to do that, then they could have it. But then it's just like, when I be looking at these sample breakdowns, a lot of the times the reason they got so intricate with their sampling is because they're trying to avoid having to pay someone else for it. So it's kind of like, I could go on about this, but anyway. But I'm good, and I'm about to make a song right now, and we just hit 30 minutes. But I hope you guys are good. And it's raining. Like, it's the reason I'm in the car, because all whatever. But I think I might just go volunteering, just because I've never volunteered in the rain. I can't stand the rain, which is a sample. I didn't know that. I thought Timberland, I mean, he made it, but it was but yeah. All right, peace, be safe, and yeah, rhyming.